Next chapter of the novel Paraja. Chapter number 103 onwards the preparation for the final blow. The catastrophe for Sukrujani's family begins. Mandia and Tikra, through Sukrujani, offer money to the Sauka for their freedom and their land. Instead of freeing them, he threatens them, the police claiming the money to be stolen. He refuses to give back their money and decided in the oral agreement. According to him, the land has been mortgaged for 30 years. Nandibali suggests that they move the court. The word of law is a place they have but seen from a distance, and the tribesmen live in terror of the court. They walk to Gorakhpur. They meet the petition writer in the court who suggests that they get a written petition and engage a lawyer. They wait to talk to the magistrate but fail in their efforts. Then they go back to the petition writer who demands 2 rupees for the paper, 5 rupees for the stamp, etc. At last, the petition is written in field. He fills the simple tribal folk with confidence that they will be able to win back their land. The Saukar meanwhile tribes and threatens the Paraja tribesmen for Sarpasdar. By this time, Sukrujani is filled of self pity and is getting tired of these misfortunes that keep befalling his family. Though he tries hard to put up a brave front, he calls on the gods. Then Sukrujani is given the next date for the hearing of the case, for when he has to bring the witnesses. Simultaneously, money changes hands between the Saukar and the petition writer as well. Sukrujani, along with his witnesses, go to Gorakhpur on the fixed date but discover to their horror and shock that the case has been dismissed as Sukrujani had not appeared at the hearing. He duped once again. By this time, Sukrujani is in a state of frenzy. They decide to talk to the Saukar. Sukrujani and his two sons go to the Saukar's place, where Jili stays and pleads for their land. The Saukar refuses to help them. In a state of anger, Mandiya accesses the Saukar, and he, his brother, and father also are complices to his heinous crime. Jili runs away and the three go to Lanchimpur police station to admit their crime and to surrender before police. It is on his sad note that the tragic tale of Sukrujani and his family end, from sustenance to bondage, from happiness to grief. The lives of Sukrujani and many such tribal peasants are constantly eroded and become tales of suffering. The next slide, that is realism in Paraja. The author writer Gopinath Mohanty's Paraja belongs to the genre of realistic novel. This genre was popularized in France by novelists like Émile Zola and André Gide in 19th century. The roots of the novel lie in romances which were popular in Europe for many centuries. Romances deal with usually love stories where courtship and adventure assumed great importance. In spite of their popularity for centuries, they fell out of public favor in course of time. Today we have different kinds of realism like socialist realism and magic realism. In Paraja, Mohanty seems to confine only to French realism, which enhanced objective representation of facts without glorifying any aspect of reality. That is why Paraja is a powerful portrayal of life of innocent and gullible tribals who become victims of the evil of the so called civilized society. The detail furnished by the novelist are graphic and authentic that occasionally it reads like an anthropological treatise on Praja tribe. He depicts Parajas living a life of peace and contentment in spite of their poverty. They cultivate small pieces of land and depend on forest resources such as honey, hunting, etc. What appeals to the reader is the non glorification of tribal life by the novelist. In spite of being a close knit community, they have their class structure and dissimilar middle of paper. Sukrujani's family is destroyed because he refuses to send his daughter Jili to the forest guard, the supervisor of the road construction company, that is exploitation. Jili and her sister Billy. The Sukru to develop a legend with Jili does not sleep until he owns her. He also evades paying bride price to Sukrujani. Thus Mohanty shows how the gullible tribe fall victims the civilized people. However, this does not mean that Mohanty totally the tribals as utterly innocent. He shows how some tribals practices like bride price, excessive drinking, their attitude to sex bring about their doom. He also shows how the village head Nayak, Khan Paraja, Madhughari, Ram are depraved and acts as agents of the exploiters. Thus, the Paraja is written in the realistic novel tradition by Gopinath Mohanty. Themes of the novel. The first theme of the novel, that is poverty. Sukru, who is in spite of his poverty, was living happy and self-dependent life along with his family, becomes prey of crafty Saukar and his avaricious ways. His life ends tragically, shattering his simple dreams. This is a common representative tale of oppressed versus oppressor. It also depicts a harsh truth that poverty, illiteracy, and lack of unity is responsible for the distress and calamity of Parajas and many other tribal people in India. The second theme of the novel, that is illiteracy. According to the agreement, Sukrujani will be free from the work of Goti. However, his sons will remain Gotis to work for the Saukar. The land could be transferred when Sukrujani would pay rupees 25 to the Saukar. Saukar knows that though the Parajas are ignorant, they were faithful fellows, even the oral agreement. So it was the impact of illiteracy. The third theme of the novel, corruption. The tragic journey of Sukrujani further proceeds when Mandya and Tikra offer money to Saukar to free their land through Saukar. Saukar blames that they have stolen the money, which in truth is earned by Mandya and Tikra by selling illicit liquor. He also claims that according to the oral agreement, the land is mortgaged for 30 years. The fourth theme, deprived justice. The cruelty and lack compassion of Saukar makes Mandya violent. Furious Mandya loses his cool and beheads Saukar with his axe. Saukar and Tikra also assist Mandya in this crime. Three of them go to the police station and surrender themselves. So these were the themes of the novel, which are depicted by the writer, that is Gopinath Mohanty.